F1inPubs, the podcast that gets everyone talking on it as well as about it.
Well, hello there. We are at Apres for the German Grand Prix. I'm Manish Patel here for F1inPubs. No Paul Hadsley this week because he's moving house. Paul, that's a pathetic excuse, to be honest with you. However, I do have my sidekick for this week, Laura Fisher. Laura, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Looking forward to a good Grand Prix?
Yeah, it should be good, hopefully.
And once again, Alonso puts the car on pole.
Alonso was so impressive yesterday. Even though he was complaining about the rain, saying that he didn't want to go out after Q2, he still managed to beat everyone. I think he's definitely probably the best driver at the moment.
Your predictions?
I think Alonso's probably going to win it this time. But I said that in Silverstone as well, and that didn't happen, so I guess you never know, but I get the feeling he will.
So potentially you think that someone could spoil the German party?
I think he could, although I'd love to see Michael Schumacher come up and take it. It'd be pretty cool.
Brilliant. Well, we'll speak to you later, Laura. Rather than Paul's pub walk, it's Manish's pub walk this week. Let's see who we can talk to. I'm going to try and talk to Tim. Tim, how are you? You alright?
I'm alright, cheers. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. Your thoughts on the Grand Prix today?
After reading a chart on Reddit regarding Maldonado's performances over the season, I think he's the one to watch for today's race because he just seems to be there's a whole string of dramas one after the other, whether it's a crash or an engine failure or in one case a victory.
And I guess today, when you look at the grid, it's a great opportunity for Schumacher, Hockenheim and Maldonado to at least challenge for a podium.
Of course it is, yeah. It's it's home territory for those guys. It's what else? Schumacher, I think, has won the German Grand Prix 4 times now. I believe so. I think so. So he knows the circuit pretty well. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it, I guess.
Anyone been saying anything on social media?
Not that I'm aware of as of yet.
Okay, well, we'll come back to you later. I'm joined by Vicky now. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine, thank you.
Your thoughts on the Grand Prix today?
Well, I'll always be going for Lewis. It's his 100th Grand Prix, so we'll be rooting for him. And I think there's a danger that him and Jenson might have too much of a battle, and they need to keep safe and not take each other out. But I love a Schumacher podium, and I'm always happy if Vettel doesn't win.
So, I mean, obviously McLaren, they say they are good in drive. This is their opportunity to prove that.
Well, I think they've struggled with their tyres, in the wet. The last race they got it wrong, but they struggle with dry running here. So, it'd be great if they could prove that. But they haven't looked as racy this weekend, I don't think.
Your predictions?
Okay, I think I'm going to go for the podium, but I don't know which order. Okay. So I'm going to say Webber, Hamilton, Schumacher. In any order.
Brilliant. Cheers. Thanks for that, Vicky. Talk to you later. We are going to try and talk to Alan, if we can. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How much are you looking forward to the German Grand Prix?
Quite a lot. Quite enjoying my beer. Wasn't really expecting this. It should be good. Quite looking forward to Mark Schumacher hopefully being in podium. Hopefully pipping Alonso would be nice. But just looking forward to some crashes, really.
Do you think there is someone out there who you think can spoil the German party today?
No, not really. I think that McLaren will be as lame as usual, and I haven't really got too much hope for Di Resta.
Really?
No, not really.
Why would you say that?
I just think they won't be able to keep pace.
I was going to say about Nico Hülkenberg as well. He was in 4th position, so surely he could potentially challenge for a podium.
Potentially, it might depend on the start a bit, but again, I just don't think the car's got enough in it.
Your predictions?
Just Alonso win, sadly.
Yeah, we'll see if you're right. We'll speak to you later. Cheers for that, Alan. I'm going to try and have a quick word with Peter.
Hello.
How are you?
Great, thank you. You all right?
Yeah, that's about. I hear you want to do a Paul Hadsley impression.
Not on microphone, no.
Go on.
Oh, ladies, can I talk to you?
Perfect. Although I'm sure Paul will have a couple of words about that.
We do miss him.
Yeah, we do. Although he has come with a pathetic excuse about why they're not being here today.
It's not even a motorsport-related excuse. We'll accept those.
Yeah. Coming on to you, Peter. You were at Silverstone. What were you doing there?
I was doing the lap charts for one of the circuit commentators. So I was trying to spot each car as it came past on each lap and note the number. And that's the tricky bit. It's numbers. The commentators want numbers. So Formula 1 cars don't tend to have very large numbers on. So I was just making a judgment call based on a quick glimpse as they shot through Beckett's. But it was a great weekend.
And talking about the German Grand Prix, your thoughts?
I said after Valencia that Schumacher was going to win the German Grand Prix, and I'm sticking with that.
Really? McLaren, they will start around 6 and 7. What do you think they can do from there?
Difficult to know because of the qualifying. I think the Mercedes engine and the Mercedes and the McLaren will be really, really quick in a straight line. I think that's why they're so far back. Because they weren't optimised for wet conditions. So I think both the McLarens and Mercedes will be up front. Maybe not initially, but they'll, as they start using the tyres right, they'll get it.
And I guess today it's a great opportunity for the likes of Schumacher, Hockenheim and Maldonado to challenge for a podium or even potentially challenge for a win.
They're all doing well. I mean, it's so difficult to know what happens. I think that it's possible. Because they did a wet qualifying, so they can choose their tyres, can't they? So they can do it, they can do whatever. So there will be a lot of really mixed up strategies. I think again it's one of those where anything could happen, and it usually does. That's just what makes this season so great.
And watch out for Roman Grosjean from the back.
Again, poor guy. I mean, he was at the back of the pack at Silverstone, and then came through and did a great job. So he's got unfinished business, I think. Right, I better go and make my pre-race announcement.
Excellent. Right, well, I'm going to try and grab a final word with Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Quick word?
Yes, absolutely. What would you like to know?
Your predictions on German Grand Prix?
I think, unfortunately, I think Alonso will probably do quite well. I mean, that'll be boring, but I think he will. Obviously, I'd like to see how Grosjean does work his way up through the field, the happy giraffe himself. Interesting to see Button start ahead of Hamilton for the first time in a long time, and we are the mighty Jenson Buton fans over here, so hoping that he can have a good finish for once, and Felipe as well. Would like to see him do well, keep up with Alonso for a change.
Well, McLaren say that they are good in the dry. This is their opportunity to prove that.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it was just a confusing lack of pace last time out. So, I don't know. I mean, they've got Maldonado for company off the start, which could be interesting. But, hope to see Button doing well. He's my main boy. But, we'll see.
Excellent. Cheers for that. Thank you. So we're just about to come to the end of the parade lap. It is going to be Alonso on pole, Vettel second, Schumacher, Hülkenberg, Maldonado, Button, Hamilton, Webber, Di Resta, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Kobayashi, Massa, Senna, Verne, Kovalainen, Perez, who was given a penalty for impeding Raikkonen in qualifying. Then it's Petrov, Roman Grosjean, Charles Pic, Nico Rosberg, Timo Glock, De La Rosa, and Carlos Sainz. So 2 HRTs running off the grid. So are we going to see a German on top step of the podium, or are we going to see someone spoiling the German party? Well, we're going to find out soon. So, watch out for the lights. We are almost ready to get underway at Hockenheim. And away we go at Hockenheim. Alonso's got to a great start. And Vettel defending from Schumacher. One Case's just gone offline. So one of the McLaren's trying to go out the outside of Maldonado, and he's made it. Great move. And that was Jenson Buton who made that move. So Jenson Buton is up to fix. Coming up to the hairpin now. And Vettel has got past. So it's Alonso, Vettel, Schumacher, Hülkenberg, Button. So they're your top 5 at the moment. So there is bodywork at the first corner, and Felipe Massa has just made his way into the pit lane. He's going to have a new front nose. So yeah, so Felipe Massa made his way onto the track. So Nico Hülkenberg is defending from Jenson Buton. And into the pits also is one of the Lotuses, and I believe it is Roman Grosjean, and Senna is in the pits as well. Laura, great start to the Grand Prix.
Yeah, brilliant. Schumacher almost getting past Vettel, that was quite exciting. Seems to have backed off a bit now though. But yeah, and it's a shame for Roman Grosjean having problems again.
And Alonso gets away cleanly.
Yeah, I think Alonso's going to build quite a big gap, at least for the start. But then, you know, he did that in Silverstone and Mark Webber came back, so anything could happen.
Well, Lewis Hamilton at the moment is really struggling. He's into 10th after starting the race in 7th. So Lewis, yes, he's got a puncher on the rear left. Now, I don't know where that's probably come from the debris that was at the first corner. Is he going to make it back to the pit lane? Only time will tell. So Lewis Hamilton has just come into pits to change that tyre. But yeah, Lewis is now back down to the rear of the grid, and it's still Alonso out in front. Laura, you have got the iPad. Has anyone been saying anything using the F1 hashtag? F1inPubs hashtag?
No, hang on, I've got a couple of things here. People gutted about Lewis, people happy about Lewis. Yeah, someone's saying I don't think my heart can take much more of this, assuming that's a Lewis Hamilton fan as well.
Very, like I said earlier, a very good start to this Grand Prix.
Yeah, what's going on? I'm not really sure why they didn't put a safety car out for that incident.
I was going to say, I mean, first corner, there's loads of debris. You would have thought there'd be a safety car.
I mean, judging by when Massa went into the pits and was missing basically the entire front of his car, there's quite a lot of debris that was on the track. Not really sure. Yeah, should have been a safety car, I think.
Cheers. As we see Raikkonen trying to get past Di Resta at the hairpin, but Di Resta defends the position well, and we see the Salvas battling with Toro Rosso. Raikkonen is built to will with Paul Di Resta. Turn 7.
Come on, Di Resta.
And Raikkonen. Excellent move. Both excellent driving there by both drivers after turn 7. So Raikkonen has managed to get past Paul Di Resta for 8th place. Well, we're on lap 11 of the German Grand Prix, and Jenson Buton has made a flying start to this race. I didn't think I'd be saying that. Jenson has already got past Nico Hülkenberg, also got past Michael Schumacher just now, going into the hairpin. So Jenson had the inside line and kept his cool. So good move by Jenson, and he moves up to 3rd. So Jenson Buton is going very well indeed. We're on lap 16, and Michael Schumacher has pulled off a brilliant move and managed to get inside. Had at the inside line while skipping past Nico Hülkenberg, and that was towards the Mercedes grandstand, and also Kimi Raikkonen was able to get past the Hülkenberg as well, so Hülkenberg is down to 9th, and Schumacher's moved up to 7th, and Raikkonen is 8th. Lap 23 of the German Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso is out up front. Then it's Sebastian Vettel, and Jenson Buton is continuing his fine form, and he's running in 3rd place. So we're having a very good German Grand Prix. I'm going to have a quick word with Peter. German Grand Prix, not turning out to be a bad one, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just ebbing and flowing, and the gaps and the tyres are just working out really well. You just can't tell which way this is going to finish, because you could stop it after 40 laps, you'll get one winner, 50 laps another winner, 60 laps another winner. It's a really nice chess game of a race.
And we've seen this season with the races that you have like a decent start, and then during the middle part it kind of like dies down and the excitement more or less goes, but with this one that's not the case.
Yeah, there's still plenty of racing, there's still lots of people within that crucial second of each other. I mean, just watching Hülkenberg and Perez here, you know, there's a great battle going on here. And you know, the 2 and the 3 stop debate is still rolling, isn't it?
And Hülkenberg and Perez are certainly closing down on Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Schumacher's running a very different tyre strategy, so I think he's going to be quickest towards the end, which has helped the last couple of race winners, because that's when it really matters. But be really keen to see how he does.
So is Schumacher going to win then?
Yeah. I know I said that, and I really want it to happen, but he may be just too far off. I'd like to see him on the podium then.
Cheers, thanks there, Peter. Chat to you later. Right, well, we're going to have a quick word with Tim, hopefully, who see if there's any comments on social media. Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. Any comments on Twitter?
There's been a couple of things. Obviously, we've got Big Six Show who's sat next to me talking about how Mark Webber's being a bit too ginger in this race. Almost being a bit too shy around the corners, and I can agree with her. Got a few comments on Michael Schumacher's incredible double undertake rather, right after his pit. That seems to be the long and short of it as of late, but I'm sure we'll get further developments as the race goes on.
Cheers, thanks for that, Tim. Thank you. So we've more or less come towards the halfway stage of the German Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso is out up front with Sebastian Vettel not too far behind the Spaniard. Vettel is just under a second behind Fernando Alonso, and Jenson Buton is still running really strong in 3rd place, and and Buton himself, he's not exactly far behind Vettel, so it's more or less a 3-horse race up front. But yeah, that's the top 3. Laura, top 3, Alonso, Vettel and Buton, and at the moment Vettel is closing the gap between himself and Alonso.
Yeah, he seems to be. Not really sure something going on with Alonso. They're on the same tyres, aren't they? So I don't know, but yeah, it would be good to see German win in Germany. I'd like a better win anyway, but I think Buton probably catch Alonso as well, maybe.
Talking of Jenson, he's not far behind.
No, and he's looking good, so it should be an interesting next few laps.
We've just seen Lewis Hamilton on lap 36 unlap himself, getting past Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton is running in 18th place at the moment after his early puncture, and we just also saw Sebastian Vettel put a hand gesture towards Hamilton. So Lewis is now running behind Alonso, so it'll be interesting to see whether Hamilton can get past the Spaniard and unlap himself. So we're on lap 42, and we've just seen Jenson Buton get ahead of Sebastian Vettel in the pit stop phases. So it's now Fernando Alonso, but Vettel is heading towards a hairpin, trying to get past Buton, but Buton defends well. Yeah, so like I said earlier, Jenson Buton has managed to get past Sebastian Vettel in the pit phases. So it's now Alonso, Buton, now Vettel. So Jenson, can he challenge for the race win? Well, I'm going to ask that question to Laura now. Can Jenson challenge for the race win?
I think he probably can. I kind of hope he doesn't. But but I think he probably can.
Well, we just seen the replay of Jenson just getting past Sebastian in the pit lane. Disappointed, I bet you're disappointed that Jenson got past.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the only person in the pub here that wasn't cheering then. Bit of a shame, really. But, you know, Vettel could still get back. Anything could happen, so let's see.
And with 25 laps to go, absolutely anything can happen.
Exactly. Maybe Hamilton will catch up, who knows? Probably not.
I don't think that will happen. Well, having got past Sebastian Vettel, Jenson Buton is now only 1.2 seconds behind Fernando Alonso, and we are on lap 44. I'm going to try and go to Tim and get some see if we can get some reaction to Jenson Buton. Tim? Oh yeah?
Hey there.
Oh yeah. Any reaction to Jenson Button's move on Sebastian Vettel?
Not that I've seen so far. No, the only reaction that we've really had is that guy over there yelling. But other than that, nothing on Twitter or on Reddit or anything.
Jenson, could he win this race, do you think?
It's entirely possible if he keeps that kind of play going, you know, if he keeps it to that high of a standard, who knows what will happen.
Vicky, Lewis Hamilton, not a race to remember.
I'm gutted, but it's great to see him unwrapping himself at the front. It's where we should be. It's just a shame about the small matter of a lap.
And I'll ask you the same question as I asked Tim. Can Jenson win the race?
Yeah, I reckon he can, you know. I think Vettel's going to be forced into some mistake because he's getting frustrated. He's been waving his arms about a lot. He'll lose focus. So I don't think he poses so much of a threat, even though DRS will help him. But, yeah, no, I reckon it's possible.
And Vettel's soon again frustrated, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he absolutely was. But, you know, it is his home Grand Prix and Lewis is on a lap down and is causing him problems. But it's entirely legitimate, so just but understandable, but it'd be frustrating.
Cheers, thanks Vicky. And just as I'm speaking right now, Jenson Buton is just under a second now behind Fernando Alonso, so Jenson is closing in on Fernando Alonso with 22 laps to go. So 10 laps to go of the German Grand Prix. Jenson Buton is just 0.7 seconds behind Fernando Alonso. So Jenson is still in with a chance of winning this Grand Prix. So on lap 58, Lewis Hamilton has retired from the race. Just going to get some reaction from Vicky. Vicky, Lewis Hamilton, as you can see, is retiring from the race. Not the best race he would have won, so his 100th race.
No, happens sometimes. Rather, he went out in having a go than technical failure. But you know, it just wasn't his race. But let's hope Jenson pulls it out of the bag for McLaren. They need the points.
Well, McLaren certainly do need the points, and Jenson's not too far behind.
He just needs to get on with it now. He needs to be a bit racier. I would like him to get a bit, you know, he's only got 8 laps left. He needs to get on with it.
But we saw Silverstone, Alonso's tyres towards the end of the race got worse, so Jenson still has a chance to get past him.
I think that's why I prefer Lewis to Jenson, though. I'd rather you win by being racy and overtaking than just because the guy in front of you's tyres went off.
Thank you for that. So we've just seen Sebastian Vettel get past Jenson Buton on lap 66. Buton tries to fight back, but Sebastian Vettel has got past Jenson Buton into second place. But I don't think, Vettel won't have enough time now to get past Alonso and challenge for the race win. So it looks like Fernando is going to take the race win.
Feeling good about his Ferrari, and every turn.
So Fernando Alonso is on the final lap now. He's just coming up to the staying section of the circuit, and Fernando is going to take his 3rd race win of the season. So Fernando is going to spoil the German party as Fernando Alonso comes up to the line.
And he wins the German Grand Prix. Sebastian
So Fernando Alonso has won the race, Sebastian Vettel second, Jenson Buton third, Kimi Raikkonen has come home in fourth place for Lotus. So Kobayashi in excellent fifth place for Sauber. So Sergio Perez comes home in sixth, Michael Schumacher seventh.
Three in a bit, yeah.
Mark Webber finished 8th, with Nico Hülkenberg coming home in 9th and Nico Rosberg coming home in 10th. So a decent Grand Prix, a decent German Grand Prix from start to finish. And I'm going to get some instant reaction on the German Grand Prix. Laura, your thoughts on the German Grand Prix?
I think it was a great race. I kind of think it was a bit silly of McLaren to just assume that Alonso's tyres were going to go off and not have Button try and attack him, because he could have got past him and you never know what would have happened, but instead he sat and waited and then it all went wrong for him. So,
well, I think the way McLaren saw it as to what happened to Alonso into Silverstone, so perhaps that's something that McLaren will have considered.
Maybe. I'm not really sure exactly what their thinking was, because Button was on older tyres than Alonso, so we don't know where they got the information from that Alonso's were going to run out, but obviously it was wrong information anyway. And also, apparently they're now complaining about Vettel's overtake on Button, that he went off the track or whatever, which I also think is a bit ridiculous, to be honest, because he didn't cut a corner, he just went off, a little bit off the track, but I don't think there was anything wrong with it really. And he gained 3 seconds on Button in the last lap, so it's clearly faster.
Nonetheless, for Jenson Buton, if he said to him he'd finished third at the start of the race, I'm sure he would have taken it.
I think he probably would have done, yeah. Considering he started in 7th or 6th, I think he would have taken third, to be honest.
Sebastian Vettel, not a bad race from him, but there were times where he was certainly getting frustrated.
Yeah, he got frustrated at Hamilton, didn't he? That unlapping thing. I think probably just confusion more than anything else. What the hell is going on? Why is Hamilton overtaking me? But yeah, and he was good at the end, and he showed that he can overtake, which a lot of people seem to think he still can't. So good race for him. I'm happy.
And for Lewis, not a 100th race to remember.
No, he's probably going to want to forget this one, isn't he? Somehow seems to have tangled with Massa again without even being near him.
And just looking further down the grid, Kobayashi finishing an excellent 5th place for Sauber.
Yeah, that's impressive. Well done, Kobayashi. Good stuff from Sauber, I think. Yeah. A bit disappointing from the Lotus today, or certainly from Roman Grosjean again, and Mark Webber as well. A bit disappointed for that. So. Yeah.
And with Grosjean, he wasn't able to do what he did at Silverstone, make his way through the field and get some points.
Yeah. I don't know. Just not a great weekend for Grosjean again, really, but. Maybe there'll be better things to come from him soon, hopefully. Maybe next week.
Excellent. Cheers. Thanks for that. Thank you. I'm going to try and grab a quick word with Alan, who's also come with Laura. Alan, your thoughts on the Grand Prix?
Really impressed with Button for once. He seemed to be a lot more competitive than he has been for most of the season. So don't know if they've done anything to the car, but he seemed a lot more settled than he had been. Alonso, leading from start to finish was kind of how I thought it would go, but he didn't pull out the lead that I was expecting. Really good race, really competitive. I thought Vettel might have been a little more up there, be able to pressure a little more, but didn't. That was a good race.
And for Jenson, I was saying to this earlier to Laura, if he said to Jenson that he'd finished third at the start of the race, he would have taken it, I'm sure.
I would have thought so. He was unlucky to miss out on second, but I think he definitely have taken third or even 5th at the minute.
We saw in the closing stages of the race that Sebastian Vettel got past Jenson Buton. Your thoughts on the move? Because we heard on team radio that McLaren were going to talk to the FIA about it.
Well, I think that's just sort of speculative. You might as well challenge it, but I couldn't see any reason why they'd be able to challenge it. Seems as if Button was really slow coming out of that corner, and Vettel seemed to have enough grip to do it, so I don't know how you can challenge going wide on the dirty part of the track with Button being on the racing line. Vettel interfered with Buton, so I don't really see what basis they've got.
And I know you're a Force India fan. Nico Hülkenberg started the race 4th but finished 9th. Will you be disappointed with that?
Yeah, a bit disappointed. I didn't think that he'd fall that far down. I didn't expect him to keep up the pace, but there was some good interesting moves with the DRS. That seemed to be a really interesting part of the track. But yeah, I was hoping for say 6th or 7th, but at least didn't smash it, so could have been worse.
Just final question for me. Looking ahead to the Hungarian Grand Prix, what are you looking forward to?
Hopefully a lot of rain, mainly because Laura's going to be there, and I hope that she gets swamped. But yeah, there's usually an interesting race. So I'm hoping that the Alonso Ferrari won't be as competitive. I really like this season with a number of drivers that have been sort of mixing up at the top. So hopefully Webb will be able to pull back some points, because Alonso's a little far ahead for my liking. I want to keep this interesting for the rest of the season.
Cheers, thank you very much for that. Alan giving his reaction to the Grand Prix. We're going to try and get some reaction on the social media. Got Tim here. Tim, how are you?
I'm alright, thank you. How about you?
Very well, thank you. Any comments on Twitter at the Grand Prix?
Just a standard congratulations to Alonso for a flawless victory. Wasn't overtaken once. A couple of things there's been a couple of things about Vettel's dodgy takeover right at the end there. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if he got some sort of penalty for that. Really? It really wouldn't surprise me. To me, it looked like it went out a country mile. So, that's just my thoughts on it. Okay. But that wouldn't surprise me. Okay. Other than that, nothing much really. It's been fairly quiet today.
Okay. Any comments or any tweets that stood out for you?
We had a couple from Gun Mottram, obviously backing Vettel, and being particularly happy when Hamilton unfortunately retired. So
I don't think he wasn't happy about that.
No, she wasn't.
I don't like the button table. I've decided they're just too noisy.
No. Other than that, nothing much going on Twitter really today. Okay. Yeah.
Just seeing Super Sim simulators tweeting Fernando is faster than all of you. So pretty sarcastic comment there. Tim, your thoughts on the race?
It was interesting. My predictions were wrong. Nothing really happened with Maldonado, which was interesting. For once, yeah. Considering he's had a pretty dramatic record over the season. And I'm not entirely sure on Schumacher's placement, but I was surprised with him. Was he 7th? Oh, well, I was surprised with him. I'd have put him further up, what with it being his home turf, and he's won it 4 times, so... Yeah.
Excellent. Cheers. Thanks for that, Tim. Vicky, your thoughts on the Grand Prix?
Yeah, there was quite a bit of racing. Not much incident. Good that it was dry. I think we needed a dry race, and actually, I think Fernando Alonso is doing exceptionally well. Not a big fan of him, but I think he's faultless at the moment. He's the one to beat.
Well, I don't think there are many Lewis Hamilton fans that are actual fans of Fernando Alonso, to be honest with you. But to be honest with you, you have to give credit to the job that Fernando's doing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's taken a bit of a dud of a car and made it competitive, more than competitive. And I think he's really consistent. I fancy him for world champion this year, I think. Of course, I'd like it to be Lewis, but there's a better chance it's going to be Alonso.
We've just seen Jenson Buton lift his 3rd place trophy. If you said to Jenson at the beginning in the race they'd finished 3rd, you would have taken that.
Absolutely, but I think there's a questionable 2nd place being taken off him, but I also think he would have lost it at some point anyway, on or off the racetrack. He was falling away and Vettel was gaining, so it was inevitable. I think he was going to lose the 2nd place in the last 5 laps.
And I'm just going to have a final question. Hungarian Grand Prix, which is next weekend actually. How much are you looking forward to it?
Well, I always look forward to the Grand Prix, and it's the last one before a big break, and I think it'll be so important to Lewis to get back on top before the break. His motivation dips if he's not in a winning position, so I'd like him to do really well as ever, but and then he'll go and get a break over the summer, and maybe take those earrings out. They're bad news.
Cheers, thanks for that, Vicky. I am going to try and talk to a Ferrari fan if I can. Just spend one moment. Andy, fancy a quick word for the podcast? I've got Andy, who's a Ferrari fan. You must be absolutely delighted with the result.
Excellent result. I had my doubts, I must admit. I thought Schumacher was going to do it, but fantastic win. Alonso's got the role now, and to be honest, from the start of the season when it looked like he wasn't going to do anything, I think the championship's probably on now.
And you have to give credit to everyone at Maranello for the job that they've done. Let's be honest with you, at the beginning of the season, Ferrari were nowhere, and now look at them.
Well, absolutely. Embarrassing, to be honest, at the start. I feel desperately sorry for Felipe Massa. I think he's having an awful run of luck. I don't think the car's exactly what it is. It's just Alonso's taking it to another level, to be honest.
And with Fernando, he always seems to get the best out of the car, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's driving better than ever, and I know he's won 2 World Championships, but I think now, just better than ever, and I think really he is probably the best driver in Formula 1 at the moment.
Your thoughts on the Grand Prix in general?
Interesting race. I thought Sauber might have done something a bit better with a one-stop strategy. I really fancied Lotus, particularly Kimi Raikkonen, but again, they haven't turned their pace into race results. I don't quite know what it is. They've got the practice, they've got the qualifying pace. They haven't got the race pace.
And just talking about Jenson Buton, he finished third. This is a comment that's been pretty popular, but if you said to him that he'd finished third at the start of the race, he would have taken that.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's having an absolutely superb season, to be honest. He's clearly struggling with the car, but he just manages to turn the results in when they're needed. Desperately unlucky at Silverstone, but today, to be honest, my driver of the race.
So you'd say Jenson Buton, your driver of the race, would you say?
Absolutely, yeah. Although Alonso obviously won it, Jenson again just manages to pull the results out. Fantastic result.
And just looking a bit further down the field, they're both Saubers finishing in the points, and those points are going to be crucial in the battle for in the midfield.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think Sauber have been one of the better teams. I mean, they've always been there or thereabouts, but this season, Perez, I still think he's going to end up with Ferrari in the next couple of seasons, but Perez and Kobe are actually excellent couple of drivers. They've got a really good driver set up there. The car's clearly good. Good result, yeah.
Thanks for that, Andy. Going to try and talk to Vicky now, who's a massive Jenson Buton fan. How are you?
I'm very pleased. I think he's going to inherit second place, to be honest.
Really?
4 wheels off the track. Nowhere near, not even on the curb. 4 wheels completely on the runoff. And so if it's a 20-second penalty, I think Seb's going to end up 4th or 5th or something. So I don't know whether there's going to be a trophy swap around, but I think Jenson's probably might inherit second. But either way, good that he's on the podium again.
Well, we'll have to find out whether Jenson will inherit second place. Your thoughts on the Grand Prix in general?
It was a good one. I mean, a good few battles going on. I mean, I was obviously hoping Button would catch Alonso, kind of wore off towards the end. Sad for Grosjean that he couldn't make a good impression. Very pleased Maldonado didn't hit anyone, because I'm his only fan. So, yeah, just me. So, glad he didn't hit anyone, and very meanly pleased that Hamilton retired from the race, because I'm a very mean person.
Well, we know that at the moment, this, in fact, the incident between, well, not incident, but the overtake that Vettel pulled off on Button, that'll be under investigation. So Button could still inherit second place. If you said to Button at the start of the race that he'd finished third, he would have taken that, wouldn't he?
Well, racing drivers, they never want to take anything with first, do they? I think
with the way things are going, he'd take third.
Yeah, absolutely. Any points is good for him right now, given the, how pleased can we be with a 10th place finish last weekend. So obviously I'm thrilled that he's higher up the running order. Did very well today. Maybe McLaren have fixed their problems and Hamilton just had some bad luck, I don't know. But looks like Button's back on form and everyone's back on the Button bandwagon.
And this could be the result that kickstart his season.
Oh, kickstart halfway through, yeah.
Too late?
A little bit late, but I think Alonso is unfortunately a bit unstoppable at the minute, but I think this will help Button get on the way to catching everyone up at the front at least. So, you know, we've got another hardcore Jenson Buton fan there, you know.
I was planning on having a word with him. Dom, your name, right? Your thoughts on the Grand Prix?
It was absolutely spectacularly fantastic. I thought that Jenson Buton deserved to win, should have caught Alonso. But obviously I'm biased. But I thought it was a fantastically exciting race, given with all the ones we've had prior to this. And also, as you're asking Vicky, I don't think it's too late in the season at all for Jenson to catch up. You look at Alonso last year, winning in Silverstone, it really kick-started the season, and we're only like a week, 2 weeks further on in the season than that, so I think it's perfectly possible.
And with 10 races to go, like you said, anything is absolutely possible.
Absolutely, 10 races to go, 7 winners, first 7 races. We're still at the stage where anything can happen.
Louis, I know it's the Jenson Buton table. I know you're cheering when Lewis Hamilton was retiring. Lewis, what's gone wrong for him?
I don't know. I think it was just the luck of his 100th Grand Prix, really. That you have these big milestones, and as Brits, we're always going for the underdog. So of course you have this momentous moment, and it's always destined to end in failure. However, I don't know what's going wrong with him in the fact that I think now that McLaren, especially this weekend, have brought loads of updates to the car, that they've sort of favoured Jenson as we've seen this afternoon.
Well, I know Lewis has said that he believes he can still win the title, but with the way things are going, that's definitely not going to happen.
Well, he said he can't. Well, he's not sure about winning the title, but so did Jenson Buton. But then he said, you know, I can still win it. So I think it's still open for everybody to win. I mean, not the Maldonados of this world, obviously, but other people, you know, the front runners, working Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren. It's all there for the taking.
Ferrari's Fernando Alonso once again peerless at the front.
Absolutely. You can't take away from him that Ferrari have now given him a semi-decent car, but he's a fantastically quality driver. So you put him with a half-decent package, and then he'll go away with it like he has done 2 or 3 times this season.
And just final question from me: Hungarian Grand Prix. How much are you looking forward to it?
Absolutely ecstatic for it. As a massive Jenson Buton fan, of course, 2006 was a momentous day. I was actually in Hungary in 2005 for the race, so Hungary has a big place in my heart, so I'm very looking forward to it.
Cheers, thanks for that. David, fancy a quick word? Okay. Your thoughts on the Grand Prix?
I think it was a bit of a slow starter up until the first round of pit stops. There were a few moves, but then after that first round of pit stops, everybody then really went for it. I mean, the first 3, we had some great battles there, and bemusingly, even Hamilton was getting involved, even though he was a lap down. I think ultimately that didn't work with McLaren's strategy, but overall, really good race, and I'm glad Alonso got the win.
We just mentioned about Hamilton trying to unlap himself by trying to get past Vettel and Alonso, which he did in the end. Was it necessary for him to do that?
Some might say it was unnecessary. On the basis that he was getting blue flags, it probably was. However, team orders are never allowed, and even though I'm not a McLaren fan, and I really wanted him out of the way, they were obviously trying to employ a strategy where they got him in front of the 2 race leaders, possibly to hold them up and get him back into the race. Obviously he got past Vettel, couldn't get past Alonso, so possibly that was a bit ineffective, but he tried, they tried, and you can't really say they've done anything wrong, so I think it's just one of those things, really.
We saw in the closing stage of the race Vettel getting past Buton, and we know the FIA are investigating it. Your thoughts on the move?
It's a difficult one. I'm obviously surrounded by Buton fans. However, Vettel got past him and when all 4 wheels off the track, so you'd have to say he's probably going to get a penalty for it. It's one of those moves where you do see in other times people not get penalised for it. I think Vettel himself in Melbourne, either last year or the year before, has done exactly the same thing there, and nothing happened. At the end of the day, it's in the FIA's hands now. Nobody else can do anything further other than them, but I probably suspect it will be a penalty and he'll get demoted 20 seconds off his race time probably, so yeah.
And also a great performance from Fernando Alonso.
Absolutely, I mean I was hoping before the race started that Alonso would take the victory. He put a great lap in yesterday in qualifying, managed to get the best out of the car, and he's gone today, he's come under a bit of pressure from Vettel and Buton at different stages of the race, and come through, and that's now his 3rd victory this season. Hopefully he can just motor on here and then hopefully take the championship at the end of the year.
Cheers, thanks for that, David. So that's some of the reaction we've had for an exciting German Grand Prix to to say the least. I personally thought it was a decent Grand Prix, and the overtake Sebastian Vettel pulled off on Jenson Buton, that's still under investigation, so Sebastian Vettel might find himself having a 20-second penalty, and that will promote Jenson Buton to second place. Both Saubers finished in the points. Kobayashi finished 5th, and Sergio Perez finished 6th, so a good haul of points for Sauber in their battle in the midfield. And so yeah, a very good Grand Prix in my view. And don't forget, if you want to react to the race, if you want to react to the Grand Prix, then you can tweet hashtag F1inPubs, so hashtag F1inPubs. So join me next week where Paul Hadsley will be back, and hopefully we have a entertaining Hungarian Grand Prix. Cheerio.
If you'd like to join in the fun with the podcast, or just find out where Formula 1 is being shown in your local area, log on to www.f1inpubs.co.uk or follow @F1inPubs on Twitter.